Right now at 6, rising as we speak. The Mississippi is taking over parts of riverside towns. We are live from two communities where residents are hard at work keeping the floodwaters at bay before the crest hits.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Ken Kozarowski. As the Mississippi continues to rise, riverside communities are working hard to keep floodwaters away from their homes and businesses. We have team coverage tonight from Fountain City and Prairie du Chien, just two of the many communities along the river who have been focused on flooding. But first, we're going to check in with our weather center and our first warned meteorologist, Eric Dean, for the latest.
Good evening, Ken. Good evening, everybody. We're sitting at 15.77 feet on the Mississippi here in La Crosse. Keep in mind, this is now the third largest crest on record, or the third largest total, I should say. The biggest one, obviously, 1965, that was 17.89 feet. Now, keep an eye on that number as we go into the next several hours at 15.77. Now, the good news out of all of this is that the Climate Prediction Center, the next 6 to 10 days keeps us below average in terms of precipitation chances as well as the next 8 to 14. So that's some good news. We kind of have a chance to dry out, if you will. Numbers for today, not bad. We were in the upper 40s towards Eau Claire, otherwise 50s from Winona to La Crosse, Viroqua, down to Prairie du Chien. 53 was the high in Boscobel. Right now we're still seeing temperatures in the 40s and 50s, and albeit the flooding concern, overall not a bad day across the Coulee region as well as the Chippewa Valley. If you have any plans tonight, we'll see temperatures going into the mid 40s by 8 o'clock, 40 by the 11 o'clock hour, and then mid to upper 30s for your overnight hours. There is a good sight to see. The radar scan, we have a clean sweep from Rusk County all the way down to Allamakee County, and that's going to get a break for tomorrow as well. But coming up in the first warned forecast, we're talking rain chances again, and they'll be back by the second half of the work week. So you don't want to miss that detail.
All right, we'll break it down in a few minutes. Thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Well, in other news tonight, we get back to the flooding. The community of Fountain City was out yesterday trying to mitigate floodwaters seeping up through roads next to the river. Today, the work continues as residents watch the river rise. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen is live from Fountain City. Emily, what's morale like among the residents? What are you seeing?
Ken, I'm here along Highway 35, but more accurately, I am in Highway 35. It is underwater at this section, and this part of the road is closed off. I want you to take a look at what's behind me, though. Speaking of community, the community took part in the sandbagging efforts. The mayor told me earlier that volunteers wrapped up the day yesterday with 13 pallets of sandbags ready to go this morning, and all of those efforts were thanks to those volunteers. High schoolers actually came through here yesterday to lay a countless number of sandbags down here.
We had people volunteering, coming from all over the place. We were able to put together a lot of sandbags in a short amount of time.
And as you know, Sheriff Osmond says the community is no stranger to flooding, especially after 2019, 2001, and actually on the Historical Society, they've got way back in 1965. But despite that, the businesses along this part of the river are heavily affected as the high waters are closing their businesses too. So the Sheriff's Office is asking that the community stays out of the area, especially with the detours and the closed highway. But they said once things get better, you should come by and patronize these businesses because they've really missed out on the business at this point in time. Live in Fountain City, this is Emily Haugen for News 8 Now. Ken, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Emily. In Fountain City, the river is expected to crest tonight, then will stay level for a few days before dropping down again. Meanwhile, further down the river, the floodwaters are not done rising yet, and many parts of Prairie du Chien are being taken over by the Mississippi. Our own Dua Israr is live from PDC in the water herself. Dua, what are you seeing?
Ken, I thought my boots were waterproof. Spoiler alert, they weren't, so I went out and got a new pair just so that I could stand in the middle of the street and show you just how underwater we are right now. I myself am currently 1 foot underwater. This house behind me, its basement is 6 feet underwater, and that's why they have those white sandbags lining up that entrance, that front door entrance, to prevent that water from rising and going to their first floor level. Now, volunteers have been filling those sandbags all day and distributing them to community members. That's why most of the community members that I spoke with today say that while all of this is unfortunate, they're grateful for those volunteers for stepping up.
The high school all came yesterday. They let all the kids get out, I think, at 11, and they got to come and volunteer, and they came on a bus and started sandbagging all the houses. So it was a really cool thing. It was great for the community that they all got to come.
Now, volunteers filled up those sandbags yesterday, and they spent those today filling up those sandbags as well, and they say that they'll continue to do that until those community requests are fulfilled, and if someone is in need of additional sandbags, they can put in requests at the Crawford County Emergency or Chamber of Commerce, actually, I should say. Now, from where I'm standing, the water is expected to rise several inches more by tomorrow because in Prairie du Chien, we haven't reached the peak, or also known as the crest. And actually, there is a car coming by right behind me right now, so those water levels will get higher, and I think my feet might be underwater. We're gonna try this. Chuck, do you want to roll over there? Oh man, oh man. Yep. I am totally drenched, That water is completely in my boots. Reporting live in Prairie du Chien. Dua Sarar for News 8 Now. Ken, back to you.
Dua.
Wow, my toes are cold.
Dua, we appreciate you being out there. Thank you so much. Now, in addition to what Dua reported tonight, some roads in PDC are closed to stop people from driving towards the water. We assume, of course, that pickup truck lives in the immediate area where Dua was reporting. Now, emergency management reports the closures are impacting some businesses, but it is a necessary precaution. Now, back in La Crosse, floodwaters have made their way into the Loggers Stadium in Copeland Park. Flooding at the stadium has postponed several UW La Crosse and MVC high school baseball games. La Crosse Loggers GM Ben Kapanke says this kind of flooding is something the team hasn't seen before. And since the field is made up of several materials, they aren't sure what's going to happen once the water drains away.
Well, we just don't know, like, what, half the field is turf, half the field is grass, what that's going to do for, obviously, the grass in the outfield, but then underneath with that turf, there's a good 12 feet of crushed rock under there. We have sand and rubber that are used to make the field safe, playable, and we just don't know what that's going to look like when the water recedes.
Now, Kapanke hopes the park will be open soon as the Loggers season begins May 30th, but they aren't the only ones being affected by the floodwaters over there. Contractors working on riverboats can't reach them. Alice Inman is part of the Julia Bell Swain maintenance crew, and although it's been tough for the team, they are optimistic.
The worst part with the high water is it's keeping our contractors from actually getting out to the boats. So there's plenty of shop work for them to do and other jobs they have to work on, so nobody's hurting real bad. As long as the boats come out safe, we'll get back to work in a little over a week and everything will be fine.
Have a good day.
If flood levels don't rise another foot, Inman and the team believe their boats will be okay and on schedule to ride the river. Transitioning out of flood coverage now, we have an update from Vernon County about this past weekend's Drug Take-Back Day. Sheriff Roy Torgerson says the Sheriff's Department collected 675 pounds of prescription drugs. National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day allows community members to drop off their unused or expired medications to be properly disposed of and keeps those medications from falling into the wrong hands. A lot of communities in this area joined in that nationwide event. Still ahead, the discussion on tax cuts continues in Madison. A Republican leader says he wants tax cuts for everyone, not just the low and middle income earners. And cannabis reform is underway in Minnesota as a bill that would legalize the plant recreationally passes through the House today.
Cooley Carpet is here to help you with the spring cleaning sales event.
Save 20% on Perfect Pet carpet styles, and they'll move the furniture for free. Select vinyl plank and hardwood are on sale.
And all estimates are free during the spring cleaning sales event at Cooley Carpet Center.
This time of year has many different names. We call it Showtime. It's when there's work to be done and fun to be had. Plus, it's time for spring bonus offers at your Northland Ford dealers, where you can save big on a Ford SUV to make it all happen. Start the season off right with 0% financing for 60 months, plus $1,000 in open trade assist on a new Ford Explorer. It's showtime. Now, for a limited time only, get 0% financing for 60 months, plus $1,000 in open trade assist on a new Ford Explorer. Only at your Northland Ford dealers.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Cooley Carpet is here to help you with the spring cleaning sales event.
Save 20% on Perfect Pet carpet styles, and they'll move the furniture for free. Select vinyl plank and hardwood are on sale.
And all estimates are free during the spring cleaning sales event at Cooley Carpet Center.
Wisconsin Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu says the state's Republicans support cutting taxes for all income earners, even if there's not enough support for a flat tax rate. He told reporters today that he wants to pass something that would lower rates for everyone. Now, Governor Tony Evers has proposed cuts that target low and middle income earners. Both Democrats and Republicans say they want to use the state's projected $7 billion surplus to cut tax rates. Multiple bills could affect Wisconsinites' access to unemployment benefits. 8 Republican-backed measures would tie the amount of unemployment benefits to the current state unemployment rates. Recipients would be limited to 14 weeks of benefits rather than 26 weeks. The bills would also allow employers to report recipients who decline or miss interviews. Now, this follows a ballot question from the spring election that asked voters if they think people using benefits should have to look for work. Now, that, of course, is already state law, but 3/4 of voters did say yes. Across the western state line, Minnesota lawmakers are moving along legal cannabis legislation. Minnesota's House passed a bill today that would make recreational cannabis available to people 21 and over. A Senate vote on the bill is scheduled for Friday. Along with making recreational cannabis legal, the bill would expunge misdemeanor cannabis cases and fund education, treatment, and law enforcement programs. The measure would also create a new state Office of Cannabis Management that will oversee regulations. Governor Tim Walz has said he will sign the bill as soon as it gets to his desk. After the break, floodwaters are forcing some Riverside residents to think long-term about their housing. People living in mobile homes in Lake City getting ready in case they have to escape the flood.
And in the world of weather, here's a look at the Mississippi River in downtown La Crosse. You can see that water is slowly inching its way inland. Now, there is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. We'll talk about that in the first warn forecast on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
No one gives you more choices than Dahl Auto. We have the best selection in the region with over 400 new vehicles from 9 different brands. Schedule a VIP appointment or buy online at dahlauto.com.
Oh no, I think I lost my debit card.
Okay, don't panic.
Don't panic, we're in a mall. Some stranger's probably tapping new shoes, tapping a washer-dryer combo, just tapping everything in sight.
It's okay, just tap your phone. With BMO, you can use your phone to freeze and unfreeze a lost card.
I can?
And you can always get a new card instantly at a BMO branch.
I got my tap back.
You ever seen someone this excited about a debit card before?
Oh yeah. Not this excited.
When a bank gives you instant peace of mind, that's the BMO effect.
If you've been injured in a car accident, call Schwabel, Getz & Sieben today.
After the accident, it was important that I had a good law firm because my case was very complicated. There were many insurance companies involved, so I called Schwabel, Getz & Sieben. Whenever I had a question, it was answered promptly in a manner that I could understand, and I knew every time that I talked with somebody at the firm that they cared about me.
Call Schwabel, Getz & Sieben for a free consultation or visit schwabel.com.
Life's more rewarding at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, especially during our great outdoor event. Right now, get unbeatable deals on a variety of outdoor essentials, like over 70% off these special buy men's cat boots, just $49.99. This lifetime kayak with free paddle, only $189.99. Rewards members save an extra $10. 36-pound bags of Estate Weed and Feed, only $32.99. And a 50-foot X-Hose Pro, just $24.99.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Our phones keep us constantly connected.
Please switch to airplane mode.
But what if they had a mode to help us actually connect? Introducing Us Mode, a mode that makes our phones less distracting, so we can focus on quality time. So the notifications we get are the ones that matter. So we're never distracted from what's most important. Visit US Cellular in-store or online to set up Us Mode for free, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, built for us.
The new cars are rolling in at Dahl Auto with over 400 vehicles available. While other dealers have brochures, we have the newest models on the show floor with all the latest technology and safety features. Experience them for yourself at Dahl Auto.
Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
For many residents along the Mississippi River, high water levels are becoming a bigger problem. Many residents in Lake City, Minnesota might have to move their homes if water levels continue to rise. Workers have been prepping the homes to get them ready in case they have to relocate quickly. They've already shut off the power and water, and several homes have already moved to avoid trouble. With such a tight-knit community bond, neighbors there say they're more worried for each other.
I'm concerned about my neighbors and my friends. Living down here, you develop a lot of friendships.
Now that decision could cost homeowners roughly $5,000 to move their homes out for safety. And then of course there's no real timetable for when they could safely return. But for a best estimate and for a current look at where those conditions are up and down the Mississippi River, let's hand it off to Eric.
All right, good evening, Ken. Good evening, everybody. Let's go ahead and hit the maps because we've got a lot to talk about over the next 3.5 minutes. Starting with Eau Claire. Current river level 768.80 feet. We'll fly over to Wabasha. You're at 16.99 feet. We'll take a look here now at, if this thing goes, there we go. Minnesota City's at 664.25. We'll go down to Winona. Actually, got your information in finally. That's up and running. 18.78 feet. Over towards the Trempealeau area, 651.01. We'll go down to the La Crescent area, 644.70, 15.77 in La Crosse. We'll go down to Lansing. Good evening to you guys. You're at 19.24. Over towards the Lynxville area, 629.80. And last but certainly not least, McGregor checking in with 22.48 feet. Now, the site in McGregor, I will say this right now, I said this at the last hour, I'll say it again. This is the site that we're using to measure Prairie du Chien as well, since it's literally just right across the river. Now, some good news, that flood warning that was in effect for parts of Juneau and Adams County is gone, but along the Mississippi, it is still in play. Another side of good news, the radar scan, we have a clean sweep across the area. That'll get a break for tomorrow as well. When you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the 20s and 30s will reach you. Mid-20s towards Ladysmith, 29 in Eau Claire, 30 La Crosse, 31 Viroqua, 31 in Prairie du Chien, as well as Boscobel. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds for tonight. That's going to pave the way for abundant sunshine for your Wednesday morning. Maybe a few stray clouds in the afternoon hours, but again, a gorgeous day nonetheless. Highs tomorrow in the mid to upper 50s across La Crosse County. Again, a mixture of sun and clouds not out of the question. Our southern zones, upper 50s to low 60s. Houston, you'll make it to 60, 59 New Albany, 58 in Lansing, 58 in Whitehall. You'll see mid to upper 50s across our central zone as well. And then mid 50s over towards Ladysmith, Cornell, Stanley, Thorpe, down to Loyal and Neillsville. So the bottom line for tomorrow, we'll see a temperature of 57 in La Crosse. We'll go into the mid-50s by the 2 o'clock hour, upper 50s by the 6 o'clock hour. Then we'll stay in the mid-50s by the early evening hours. And again, the good news, the precip chance, non-existent for tomorrow. We're sitting at 52 degrees outside. We have a mixture of sun and clouds out there. Feels like 52. Humidity is at 32% with winds out of the west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. Eau Claire, you're at 47 degrees right now with a mixture of sun and clouds. It feels like 43 out there. You have a light north-northeasterly wind at 8 miles per hour. So here's your setup. High pressure is in control right now. We're on the back end of it. And you see the stationary boundary that's associated with it as well. As long as we stay in this pattern, which we will for a couple days, it's going to allow those temperatures to go up. It's going to keep the precip chances pretty small. That's why we're going to go back into the 60s. What's going to happen for the second half of the work week? So you see these low pressure systems that's coming in from Canada. Watch what happens. There's one that clips us. Here comes another one that clips us right there by Friday. And then another one will come in. This guy right here will be Saturday going into your Sunday. So the rain chances for the next several days, 20% chance. That'll be Thursday afternoon and evening. then they really ramp up for the weekend, then they start to drop again as we go to the first part of the next work week. So the details of the first warn forecast for tonight, we're going to go to 30 degrees. We'll see partly cloudy skies, patchy fog overnight, not out of the question, with winds out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's how we get to the temperature for tomorrow. We'll start the day off with a temperature of 38 by 8 a.m. We'll go to the double nickel, 55 degrees for the 2 o'clock hour. Again, plenty of sunshine with a nice light south-southwesterly wind, and that south-southwesterly wind is going to be the key player for this. The next 8 days, mid-60s for Thursday and Friday. The caveat, though, rain chances are in the forecast. Then we see another front push through for the weekend. We'll drop the temperatures for Saturday and Sunday with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. Then the rain chances continue as we go to the first part of the work week. We don't need any more rain.
That's right.
But the good news is, if you will, some of those flood warnings are now slowly starting to drop off the map.
All right, good news indeed.
Yep.
Thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Coming up next in sports, Central grad Jordan Davis deciding on his next chapter. We'll see Onalaska High School field packed with athletes looking to showcase their skills. Rob's got the highlights next.
Spring is a great time to plan your next home improvement project. Call now for a free estimate on windows, doors, siding, sunrooms, decks, baths, kitchens, or flooring.
Save big money with the 11% off everything at Menards. Get the top-of-the-line water heaters with Wi-Fi technology from Richmond. This hybrid electric heat pump water heater's energy efficiency will provide long-term savings. Get it now for just $1378.96 after rebate. Soften your water and help reduce mineral buildup with Morton's 27,000 grain water softener. This water softener is an ideal choice for small to medium-sized households. Right now, just $399.96 at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Hit the ground running in the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet. Like the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport, or the Ridgeline, made more rugged with better off-road performance, and more capable with different driving modes available to conquer snow, mud, and sand. Adventure on in the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports.
Mother Nature must be a track fan because we actually had some spring weather out on the field today and the athletes taking advantage of it at the Onalaska Open. Some of the best athletes in our area putting their speed on display at Onalaska High School. We'll start with the girls' 100-meter hurdles. Home field advantage for Onalaska's Josie Bloom. She takes first place with a personal record 16.63. Then it was the boys' turn, and it's Holman's Kyle Jackson finishing ahead of the pack. Personal record for the senior with a 15.57. Let's go to the 100-meter dash on the girls' side. Check this out. It's Lydia Lazarescu, the Holman freshman, getting it done, 12.77. That's a PR as well. And finally, on the boys' side, these guys putting on a show. It's Aquinas senior Colin Conzemius taking first place at 10.95, just ahead of West Salem's Brennan Kennedy. Great effort from all the athletes that got a chance to showcase their skills on Tuesday. On to the pros now. Big night for Minnesota sports fans. Let's start on the ice. The Wild are back on the road in Dallas tonight for a pivotal Game 5. Minnesota's hoping to take a 3-2 series lead over the Stars. They had a chance over the weekend on their home ice to really gain the upper hand, but the Stars spoiled that in St. Paul, hanging on for the 3-2 victory, and now the scene shifts back to Big D with the series tied at 2 games apiece. On the hardwood, the T-Wolves are hoping to keep their season alive tonight. Minnesota showed some fight the other night at home, taking Game 4 over Denver, pushing this series to a 5th game. T-Wolves avoided the sweep on Sunday with the 114-108 win in overtime, but now the series shifts back to Denver for Game 5 tonight. T-Wolves are hoping to become the first team in NBA history to come back from an 0-3 hole in a best-of-7 playoff series. Rounding out the Minnesota sports night, the Twins will be eyeing their 3rd straight win as they host the Yankees at Target Field. It was all Minnesota last night. Sonny Gray was solid, going 7 strong. Joey Gallo putting one in the seats against his former team. Joe Ryan gets the ball tonight for Minnesota. And finally, Central grad and now former Badger Jordan Davis is transferring to Illinois State. The junior guard has 2 years of eligibility remaining in his college career. Davis was initially a starter last season before being relegated to the bench in favor of freshman Connor Essegian midway through the season. I'm guessing this is probably for more playing time. Hopefully he gets it. Now with our new favorite team in the Missouri Valley Conference,
That's right.
the Redbirds.
That's right. Yeah, easy to assume, I would say, an area that's still relatively close to home. I mean, of course, family means a lot to the Davises and the extended family beyond them. So hopefully a good fit. Not quite sure about the coaching staff, if there's a prior connection there. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, wish him nothing but the best. Absolutely.
Let's go Redbirds.
That's right.
I'm all in.
Rob, thanks very much.
You got it.
We will be right back to wrap things up.
Stories are told on our Instagram at WKBT News 8. Or you can always find us at news8000.com.
Rise and shine. Today you start a new and exciting adventure. So step up and dream big. At the School District of La Crosse, let curiosity guide you, not fear of the unknown. Meet friends, learn and play. Embrace change. Discover hidden talents. And let loose your unbridled potential. Build a better future. Because here, anything is possible. The School District of La Crosse. Dream, believe, achieve.
This time of year has many different names. We call it Showtime. It's when there's work to be done and fun to be had. Plus, it's time for spring bonus offers at your Northland Ford dealers, where you can save big on a Ford SUV to make it all happen. Start the season off right with 0% financing for 60 months, plus $1,000 in open trade assist on a new Ford Explorer. It's showtime. Now, for a limited time only, get 0% financing for 60 months, plus $1,000 in open trade assist on a new Ford Explorer. Only at your Northland Ford dealers.
To everyone who appreciates a handcrafted meal, are you ready for a taste of Wisconsin?
Butterburger's cooked fresh, just the way you like.
The way you love.
Definitely love. And our thick and creamy frozen custard, we make it for you all throughout the day.
All day.
All day, every day. Put it in the extra work and not cutting corners. Takes a little longer.
But it's how we've always done it at Culver's. Because making your meal with care shows how much we care.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
For the next 8 days, we'll go into the mid to upper 50s with plenty of sun for tomorrow. And then those pesky rain chances return as we go into the weekend with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s.
All right, Eric, thanks very much. And thank you all for joining us tonight at 6. We'll see you tonight at 10.